Have you ever thought of someone and then they text you out of nowhere? Have you ever seen repeating numbers over and over again, like 111 or 444, or felt like a song on the radio was answering a question you just asked in your head? If yes, you're not imagining things, you're experiencing synchronicity, and once you understand what synchronicity really is, your whole reality begins to shift, because synchronicity is not random, it's not luck, it's not coincidence, it's communication, it is the language the universe speaks, and when you learn to listen, everything changes. Let's go deeper. Imagine you're standing in front of a giant invisible web, a web that connects you to everyone and everything else. This is not fantasy, this is frequency, and just like a spider can feel when one part of the web is touched, you can feel when the universe is sending you a signal. This signal is called synchronicity, and it always has meaning, but here's the catch, it only works if you're awake enough to notice it. If your mind is always in the future or the past, you're blind to the signs, but if you are present, alert, and aware, reality begins to speak to you directly, and it uses synchronicity as the messenger. It's like reality is leaving you breadcrumbs, but only if you're tuned in enough to follow them. So why does synchronicity happen, and how do we attract more of it? Think of your thoughts like tuning forks. Each thought you have sends out a vibration, and that vibration moves through the quantum field, connecting to people, places, events, and possibilities that match your signal. So when you think about someone, and they suddenly message you, it's not magic, it's matching. When you feel aligned, and everything seems to flow, it's not chance, it's coherence. Synchronicity is the evidence that your inner world and the outer world are starting to dance to the same beat. It's the echo that returns when your frequency is stable enough to be heard. But let's get more specific. What does synchronicity look like? It could be meeting the right person at the perfect time, seeing a book that answers your deepest question, hearing lyrics that unlock a decision you've been struggling with, or receiving money exactly when you needed it most. It's not always dramatic, sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's soft, but it's always significant, and the more you honor it, the more it shows up, because the universe responds to attention. Attention is currency in the quantum world. And when you spend your attention on synchronicity, it multiplies. But here's what most people get wrong. They chase synchronicity like it's a trick to hack the universe. They try to force signs, manipulate symbols, demand answers. And that's not how this works. You don't control synchronicity. You court it, you align with it, you become the kind of person who is naturally in sync, and then the field responds. So how do you do that? First, you clear the noise. If your mind is full of fear, doubt, and chaos, you're jamming the signal. You're like a radio stuck between stations. You must create stillness, create space, because synchronicity lives in the silence between thoughts, in the breath between decisions, in the pause before reaction. Second, you lead with feeling. The universe doesn't speak English, it speaks energy, and emotion is energy in motion. So your emotions are actually the codes you send into the field. When you feel grateful without a reason, when you feel joyful for no cause, when you feel love without condition, you're broadcasting a powerful magnetic signal, and the universe always mirrors that back, sometimes not in the way you expect, but always in the way you need. Third, you follow the nudges. Synchronicity often begins as a whisper, an urge to go somewhere, a feeling to call someone, a pull toward a book or a video, and when you ignore it, the signal fades, but when you follow it, the path unfolds, like a puzzle solving itself in front of your eyes. Synchronicity is the reward for those who trust their inner guidance, not just once, but consistently, because trust is a frequency, and that frequency attracts clarity, and clarity attracts alignment, and alignment attracts synchronicity, and the loop continues. It's a feedback loop of magic, and you are the generator of that magic. And here's something even more wild. Synchronicity doesn't just respond to your thoughts. It also responds to your evolution. The more you grow, the more the signs grow, the more you remember who you are, the more the field remembers how to meet you, because the field is not outside you, it is inside you and around you. It is woven into your awareness, your breath, your choices, and synchronicity is the proof that you and the field are in conversation, always, even if you forgot the language for a while. But you're remembering now, right? You're remembering how it feels when the right thing shows up at the right time, when the impossible becomes inevitable, when life feels less like a fight and more like a flow. that is synchronicity, and it's not just a spiritual idea, it's a scientific reality. Carl Jung called it meaningful coincidence, but modern physics calls it non-local connection, meaning two events can be connected, even if they happen far apart, even if there's no obvious cause. The quantum field does not operate by the rules of time and space, it operates by frequency and resonance. So when you are resonating with a specific emotion, thought, or belief, you are influencing the field, and the field is influencing you back, and synchronicity is how that influence shows up in your world, as patterns, as people, as perfect timing, and the better you get at recognizing it, the faster your reality reshapes, because you are no longer just reacting to the world, you are in dialogue with it, you are in dance with it, and the dance gets easier the moment you stop asking why and start asking what. What is this showing me? What is this reflecting? What am I meant to see? And when you do that, when you approach synchronicity with curiosity instead of control, you step into a whole new timeline. A timeline where the universe is not a stranger but a partner, not a riddle but a rhythm, not a test but a teacher, and this changes everything. It changes how you make choices, how you face challenges, how you meet yourself. Because synchronicity is not just about magic moments, it's about mirrored messages that remind you that you are not alone, that you are not random, that your life is being guided, not by fate, but by frequency. Synchronicity deepens when you begin to live in rhythm with it, not as a passive observer, but as an active participant. And to do that, you must become a master of your own signal, you must become aware of what you're broadcasting, not just in thought, but in energy, because most people think they are asking the universe for love, while vibrating fear. They think they want abundance, while carrying scarcity. They think they're calling in clarity, while swimming in confusion, and the field doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you are, and what you are is the sum total of your most consistent signals. So if you want new synchronicities, you need a new signal, and to change your signal, you don't need to become someone else. You need to become more of yourself, the self that existed before the noise, the programming, the pretending, the self that feels true, and when you live from that place, your world begins to align with it because the field recognizes truth, and it always rewards congruence. Congruence means your thoughts match your emotions, and your emotions match your actions, and your actions match your essence, and when all of that lines up, synchronicity speeds up, it becomes your compass, your feedback, your confirmation, and it's not just for the big things, it's in the little ones too. It's in the way the right word appears the moment you need it, in the way a stranger says something that solves your inner conflict, in the way you stumble on the perfect solution when you stop looking for one, and once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Once you feel it, you can't unfelt it, because synchronicity is addictive in the best way. It trains your nervous system to trust, it trains your mind to soften, it trains your heart to lead, and that is the ultimate shift from control to connection, from pushing to pulsing, from force to flow. And here's the paradox: the less you chase synchronicity, the more it chases you, because it thrives in stillness, not in striving. It finds you when you're most present, not when you're most stressed. It reaches you when you're most real, not when you're trying to be perfect. So if you want more synchronicity, be more present, take more pauses, listen more deeply, drop into your body, your breath, your being, because synchronicity is subtle. It's like a thread that pulls at your sleeve, gently, persistently, and when you follow that thread, it unravels the old stories, the stuck patterns, the fake paths, and it reveals the route you were always meant to walk, the one that feels like remembering, not striving, the one that feels like home, not effort. And that path is unique to you, no one else can walk it, no one else can hear the signals meant for you, no one else can interpret the signs exactly the way your soul can. So stop outsourcing your guidance, and start listening within, because the universe is always speaking, but the volume depends on your willingness to hear, and your willingness is your frequency, not your worth, not your perfection, but your presence. And when you are present, you see more, hear more, feel more, because you are no longer lost in the mind, you're rooted in the moment. And the moment is where synchronicity lives. It's where the field meets form, it's where the unseen becomes seen, and the more you live there, the more natural it becomes, until synchronicity isn't an exception. It's a baseline, until magic isn't rare, it's regular, until you don't just notice the signs, you become one, And that is the highest level when you stop looking for signs and start becoming the signal, when your life becomes a mirror for others to see what's possible, when your energy becomes an invitation for others to rise to their truth, because synchronicity is contagious. When you're around someone who lives it, you feel it, their timing, their glow, their grace. It's not luck, it's alignment, and alignment is a choice. It's the result of hundreds of micro-choices daily, to return to self, to return to truth, to return to presence. And that's the journey, the one where you stop seeking the path and realize you are the path, the one where you stop asking if the universe is listening and realize it always was, and now you're finally speaking its language, not with words, but with wavelength, not with effort, but with essence, and the universe responds in kind, in echoes, in symbols, in nudges, in knowing, and that knowing is your superpower. It is the quiet certainty that says, I don't need to see it to believe it, I believe it, and that's why I'll see it, and that is the key that turns potential into reality. That is the lever that moves mountains in the quantum world, belief before evidence, trust before proof, vibration before result, and once you embody that, the field bends to meet you not because you're special, but because you're aligned, not because you begged, but because you became, and when you become the signal. Synchronicity is not the goal, it's the side effect. It's the natural result of living in integrity with your truth. So if you're watching this and wondering when your next synchronicity will appear, ask yourself this instead: am I living in the signal of who I really am, or am I waiting for the world to prove something to me? Because the answer to that question is the key to your timing, the speed of your unfolding, the shape of your synchronicities. And remember this, the universe does not run on clocks. It runs on clarity, and clarity comes from congruence, and congruence comes from choosing your truth again and again, until it chooses you back. And when it does, you won't just see synchronicity, you'll swim in it, breathe in it, live in it, because it will be everywhere, it will be everything, it will be you. And when synchronicity becomes you, you begin to understand that you're not living in a world of random events, you're living in a responsive mirror, a quantum feedback loop that echoes your essence, your clarity, your conviction, and the more consistently you stay in that essence, the more precisely reality arranges itself around you, like notes forming a song, like stars forming a constellation, like moments forming meaning. And that meaning is not manufactured, it's remembered, it was always there, waiting behind the noise, waiting beneath the doubt, waiting for you to slow down enough to feel it. And when you feel it, everything changes, because now you're not chasing alignment, you're choosing it in how you wake up, how you breathe, how you speak, how you think and speak and walk through your life. You're choosing alignment by saying no to what's almost right, and yes only to what resonates fully. And when your choices align with your resonance, synchronicity moves at lightning speed, not because the universe sped up, but because your resistance slowed down, your static dissolved, your noise softened, and in that quiet, new pathways emerge, paths that logic could never predict, shortcuts that effort could never find, because the field doesn't operate on effort, it operates on entrainment. And entrainment is when your frequency becomes so stable, so true, so unwavering, that everything around you begins to adjust to it. Your relationships, your health, your opportunities, your next steps, they all begin to reflect the clarity of your signal. And this is when people say everything just fell into place. It didn't fall, it flowed to match your frequency, because synchronicity is fluid, it's not forced, it's not something you push, it's something you allow, and allowance is the doorway through which magic walks into form, not because you hoped, but because you held your truth, held your center, held your trust, even when nothing made sense, even when logic shouted you're crazy, even when fear whispered this won't work, and still you held, and because you held, the field moved, because that's the law, that's the design, that's the nature of the quantum. It follows coherence, it responds to steadiness, it obeys the deep undercurrent of inner certainty, and that certainty is not arrogance, it's not loud, it's not external, it's subtle, it's sacred, it's the kind of knowing that lives in your bones, in your breath, in your gaze, and people feel it. They don't always understand it, but they feel it, because it changes rooms, it anchors conversations, it opens doors that should have stayed shut, and closes doors you no longer need to walk through. And that precision, that alignment, is not a reward, it's a reflection, It's what happens when you stop playing small, stop hesitating, stop hiding behind confusion, and step fully into congruence. And congruence is a magnet not for outcomes, but for echoes, for responses, for patterns that match your pattern. So if the patterns in your life keep repeating, pause and ask, not why is this happening, but what is this reflecting? What am I pulsing? What am I rehearsing in thought, in feeling, in attention? Because attention is prayer, and attention creates pattern, and repeated attention creates reality, and reality speaks back, in synchrony, in sequences, in moments that whisper, we heard you, we matched you, we mirrored you. And if you don't like the mirror, you don't smash it, you change the signal, because the signal is the source of the shape, the signal is the sculptor, and you are the signal, you are the sculptor, you are the cause, you are the echo, you are the vibration that forms the frame of the life you walk through. And when you accept that, everything changes, not because you finally figured it out, but because you finally felt it. You stopped trying to decode the matrix and started becoming the matrix. You stopped trying to force a plan and started listening for the pulse, and the pulse is always there. It never left. It's just waiting for you to match it, to meet it, to move with it. And when you do, synchronicity becomes your compass, your currency, your conversation with the cosmos. And the more you listen, the more you're guided. And guidance doesn't shout, it whispers. It moves through intuition, through timing, through the deep feeling of I don't know why, but I know it's right. And that feeling is not guessing, it's quantum, it's the field talking back. And once you trust it even once, you begin to live differently, you begin to choose faster, speak clearer, release quicker. Because you're no longer trying to force life, you're flowing with it, and flow isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the choice to live in frequency over fear, in signal over static, in alignment over anxiety. And when you do, you become a match for everything that matches you. Synchronicity is no longer rare, it's reliable, no longer strange, it's standard, no longer a mystery, it's your method. And this method is not something you learn, it's something you return to, something ancient, something encoded in your DNA, something that has been guiding you since before you had words for it. And now that you are listening, now that you are present, synchronicity starts showing up, not as magic but as mirror, not as coincidence but as consequence, not as luck but as law. And this law doesn't punish or reward, it reflects and responds, it takes its cue from you. And when your cue is clear, when your energy is congruent, when your choices align, your timeline bends, your future accelerates, and your reality takes shape in ways that defy logic, because they aren't built from logic, they're built from resonance. And resonance builds faster than reason, resonance organizes faster than plans, resonance collapses time and space into moments that feel like destiny, but they aren't destiny. They are decision dressed as destiny. They are what happens when your being becomes louder than your fear, when your breath becomes more honest than your doubt, when your actions begin to echo your highest alignment, and this echo begins to ripple outward, touching everything your energy touches. And your energy touches everything, so what you feel matters, what you expect matters, what you repeat matters. And this isn't pressure, it's power, not responsibility as burden, but as blessing. Because once you know this, once you really know this, you stop outsourcing your authority, you stop waiting for permission, you stop asking for validation, you start creating, you start tuning, you start responding not to the noise of the world, but to the signal of the soul. And your soul knows the way. It always has. It speaks in symbols and timing and nudges and dreams, and you don't need to understand it, you need to trust it, trust enough to follow the thread, even when it doesn't make sense yet, even when others don't see it yet, because synchronicity is not built on explanation. It's built on experience. It's not about convincing others, it's about becoming yourself. And as you become, as you align, as you attune, the field bends, it flows, it moves. And this is not theoretical, this is tangible, this is happening in your body right now. Every time your chest opens, every time your breath deepens, every time you feel the yes in your gut and follow it, the field moves, because you moved, and this movement creates momentum, and momentum creates more alignment, and alignment creates a cascade of synchronicities that feel impossible, but are inevitable, because you are finally living from the inside out, not the outside in. And that flip changes everything. It rewrites the map, it reprograms your mind, It dissolves the delay between thought and thing, between prayer and path, between dream and door, and that door opens, not when you've earned it, but when you've matched it, when you've stabilized your signal long enough to walk through it, and most never do, not because they're not capable, but because they wobble, they question, they reverse the frequency before the door can unlock. But you are here now because you're done wobbling, you're done waiting, you're done wondering, you are ready to anchor, ready to hold, ready to harmonize, and harmony is the new hustle, it's the new strategy, it's the most magnetic state you can live in, and from that state, everything organizes, everything harmonizes, everything begins to conspire on your behalf, and synchronicity becomes the language of your life, the constant whisper of you're in the right place, at the right time, with the right people, doing the right thing, not because you forced it, but because you finally felt it, and when you feel it long enough, you don't lose it, you live it, it becomes your new baseline, your new normal, your new rhythm, and rhythm is everything. Rhythm is how you move through the field, how you dance with the invisible, how you pull the thread of miracles into the mundane, and make them standard, and when miracles become standard, when magic becomes method, when synchronicity becomes structure, you are no longer playing the game, you are designing it, and design is not accidental, it is intentional, it is a choice repeated enough to become a reality, sustained enough to become a life, and this is your life now, this is your reality now, and every breath you take in alignment is an instruction to the field to bring you more of what matches that breath, more of what matches that trust, that clarity, that congruence, and this is why the work is not in doing more, it's in being more, being still, being honest, being consistent, being aware. Because awareness is the seed of synchronicity, and attention is the water, and your breath is the sun, and the more you live like this, the less you need to plan, because life starts planning with you, it starts aligning around you. And this is not about control, this is about coherence. And coherence creates clarity, and clarity collapses confusion, and in the absence of confusion, the field can finally speak clearly, and when the field speaks clearly, you know exactly what to do, not because you figured it out, but because you felt it, and felt truth is faster than thought, and stronger than fear, and this is the truth you came here to remember. And when you remember this truth, not just once, but daily, not just in moments of peace, but in moments of pressure, that's when the shift anchors, that's when the signal holds, that's when you become the architect of your own alignment. And alignment is not a mood, it's not a moment, it's a movement, it's a muscle you build, every time you choose to believe in resonance over resistance, every time you choose to stay in your center, when the world spins outside, every time you choose to let the inner tone guide the outer action, and when that tone is true, when your inner note is steady, the world begins to harmonize around you, people show up, opportunities show up, doors open, paths clear, not because you forced them, but because you found the frequency that made them inevitable, and that frequency is you, not the masked you, not the conditioned you, not the you who waits to be chosen, but the you who chooses, the you who dares to believe that your presence is enough, that your energy is magnetic, that your coherence is the calling card to a universe that is always listening, always responding, always entangled. And now that you're tuned, now that you're awake, now that you're in rhythm, synchronicity becomes your GPS. It becomes the way the universe winks at you, the way the quantum nods and says, yes, this is it, this is aligned, this is your route, and all you have to do is listen, not with ears but with energy, not with logic but with presence, not with doubt but with devotion, and that devotion to your own signal, your own resonance, your own truth, is what builds the bridge between the invisible and the inevitable. It's what turns thoughts into things, dreams into days, ideas into impact. And this isn't luck, this isn't privilege, this isn't chance, this is physics, this is the field in motion, this is resonance made real. And when you finally trust that, when you stop rehearsing limitation and start embodying liberation, everything flows faster, cleaner, quieter, because you are no longer asking the world to give you something you haven't yet become, you are showing the world what's already true, and the world reflects that truth, like a mirror, like a magnet, like a melody, and your melody is being heard, it's being felt, it's being followed, and that means your work now is not to prove, it's to protect your signal, to stay tuned, to stay steady, to stay sovereign, in the midst of noise, in the face of doubt, in the presence of old. Stories that want to pull you back into a rhythm that no longer matches you, and you will feel the pull, you will feel the tension between the old and the new, between the familiar and the free, but that tension is not punishment, it's permission, permission to pause, permission to breathe, permission to choose again, because choice is how you rewrite the script, and the script is always changing, the field is always listening, the timeline is always responding, and your only job is to hold. The tone that says I am already worthy, I am already aligned, I am already allowed, and when you hold that tone long enough, it echoes out, it bounces back, it shows up as moments and meetings and messages that you didn't plan, but that planned you, and this is synchronicity, not as a concept, but as a companion, not as a rarity, but as a rhythm, and rhythm is everything, it is the new gravity, the new currency, the new compass, and when you follow it, not blindly but boldly, not with fear but with faith, not with desperation but with decision, you realize that reality was never outside of you, it was always waiting on you, and now that you're here, now that you're attuned, the field says yes, not maybe, not later, not almost, but yes, and that yes is your echo, that yes is your confirmation, that yes is the moment you stop asking how, and start knowing when, and the when is now, always now, the only portal, the only place, the only frequency where the field can meet. You fully, where miracles feel mundane, and magic feels mechanical, not because they're small, but because they're stable, because they're normal, because you're ready, and ready doesn't mean perfect, ready means present, and you are present now, tuned now, living now, and now is the most powerful spell the quantum knows, the only spell it responds to, because the now is where coherence lives, and coherence is the signature of creation, the pulse of power, the breath of transformation, and you are breathing it now, you are becoming it now, you are living it now. And now that you are living it, everything changes, not because reality shifted by accident, but because you shifted by choice, and choice is the lever of timelines, the fulcrum of frequency, the command that collapses potential into presence, and your presence is power, not a performance, not a persona, not a projection, but your real, raw, radiant presence, the kind that doesn't waver when the room gets quiet, the kind that doesn't hide when the signal gets loud, the kind that stays rooted. Because it knows the field responds to roots, not to reactions, and when you are rooted, when your tone is true, when your yes is embodied, the universe becomes your echo chamber, every thought held in coherence begins to carve reality, every emotion aligned with truth begins to inform experience, every breath breathed from presence begins to build the bridge to what's next, and next is no longer a mystery. It's a match, not a guess, not a gamble, but a gravitational pull to everything that already belongs to your vibration, and this is where synchronicity becomes sacred, not just as surprise, but as structure, not just as mystery, but as map, and the map is you, not a path you follow, but a presence you become, and the more you become, the more the world becomes with you, people shift with you, time bends with you, moments dance with you, not because you made them, but because you met them, and meeting the moment is the mastery that synchronicity invites you into, again and again. And again, until you stop counting signs and start becoming one, until you stop needing proof and start living as the proof, until your life becomes the evidence of alignment, the confirmation of coherence, the mirror of your remembering, and that remembering is the revolution, not the loud kind, not the chaotic kind, but the quantum kind, the kind that whispers in stillness, the kind that sings in silence, the kind that says you are already it, you were always it, and now the field knows it. 2, because you finally believe it, not as a wish, but as a way of being, and being is the signal, the ceremony, the code, and that code is active now, it is alive now, it is responding now, and now is the only place where everything is possible, because now is where you choose again, now is where you breathe again, now is where you remember again, and in that remembering, you return, not to something new, but to something ancient, to the hum of truth, to the rhythm of coherence, to the pulse of your infinite self, and in that pulse, you feel the field say yes, I see you, yes, I know you, yes, I reflect you, and that reflection is your sign, that alignment is your path, that synchronicity is your language, and that language is love, the original frequency, the source signal, the sound that starts everything, And now that sound is yours, now that song is you, now the field doesn't just respond to you, it sings with you, breathes with you, becomes with you, because you are no longer just in the world, you are weaving it, and that is the miracle, and the method, the magic, and the mechanism, the mystery, and the meaning of why synchronicity was never random. It was always the resonance of your becoming, and now you are here, you are clear, you are real, and reality is ready for you.